This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services located on Kern Street in Exeter, Pennsylvania. Springtime is here, and that means it is time to start thinking about getting your yard looking its best. Do you really want to be in your yard all weekend digging things up and planting something new? Wouldn't you rather spend time with your family by the pool or doing fun things with the kids this summer instead of cutting the grass? Let the professionals at Keller's handle the hard stuff. They are family-owned and operated and looking forward to assisting you. Visit them on their social media page for more information. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Get your free estimate today. Welcome to the Popko Project podcast, a platform for the discussion and discovery of arts and entertainment. We focus on highlighting people and events that add value to the world around us. Visit us on all social media platforms by searching the Popko Project or visit our website at thepopkoproject.com. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for listening. And we're live. Gentlemen.
Got it.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, good, man.
Really good. Really good. Thanks for having us, Johnny.
Guys in Capitol Theatre from New Zealand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You might be my furthest away guest. But with the internet, we're in the same room, which is awesome.
It's so good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank God for the internet, right?
Oh, yeah. It's caused a lot of good. Some people say it's caused a lot of harm, but I think in general it's good. It's brought the world closer together. Information's a lot quicker, you know.
It's definitely a blessing and a curse. I always say that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you would be of generation that would remember not having the internet on your phone, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I had internet in my home when I was 95. So I was like 13 or so, 13, 14.
That was a big deal, right? And the first time you get like a connection. Did you have online?
Oh yeah, yeah. The whole beeping and squealing and.
You know what's also, the Get Back Beatles doco. I was watching a bit more of that. You gotta pace yourself on that. But the cool thing about it though is you see them. They're all sitting around and they're like waiting for John Lennon to turn up. You know, he gets here at midday. But so they're literally just sitting around in a group drinking cups of tea. And the thing is, you don't see anyone occupied with anything else other than the conversation, or maybe someone's reading a book or something.
Or a paper.
Yeah, paper. But it's such a stark reminder that, back then they had each other.
We were more present.
And they're trying to call John Lennon and his phone's engaged, like he's constantly engaged, so he's got it off the hook. How cool would that be?
I'm off the grid. Just
put it off. I mean, wish you could take this thing off.
There's this amazing feature called Do Not Disturb.
Oh yeah. Turn it off and throw it away.
Yeah. It's hard not to though. I mean, like I'm glued to my phone, whether it's for work or for helping to promote this and things like that. It's so hard to put it down, and it's a real shame. I'm of the age, and I already kind of alluded to that, but we went outside, rode our bikes till it got dark out, and went home. Yeah. And if we weren't home, we weren't home. It was great.
Yeah. And you always made it back. Pretty safe.
Always made it back. I'm still here to this day. Yep.
Got the milk cartons about the missing kids.
But I mean, imagine if we went through, a worldwide pandemic without the internet. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I did a lot of shopping from my phone. Yeah. A lot of,
I don't think people would be scared. I think it would have been maybe more propaganda could have come out. You never know.
Because your only source of truth would have been the newspapers, right, at the time. So you'd just believe whatever the newspaper read.
And you can't trust that.
No. And there probably wouldn't be like two polar opposite kind of viewpoints on the news. I wouldn't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
It's much easier for information to obviously get shared, either, and good information and bad information. So, you've got to be wary of the sources that you're consuming.
I mean, this might be a Zen question, but if there was no internet, would the pandemic exist?
Ooh.
Right. What if we didn't know about it?
Yeah. We would just say, oh, I got a cold and I got better. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned good information and bad information. What are your thoughts on Will Smith versus Chris Rock? Real or fake?
Oh, it looked like a punch more than a slap.
My observation on that is if it was orchestrated, I think it's 10 times, 20 times worse of an examination of celebrity culture than if it was genuinely Will Smith getting emotional and hitting someone. That's still not condonable. But if it was orchestrated for attention, I think that's really sad.
Oh, do you think that there's this theory that it was scripted?
Potentially. I mean, my thing on it is, if anyone said that and I was that pissed off, not that what he said was, I didn't really listen to that, but if you got worked up enough to walk up onto a stage, you're going to punch someone in the face rather than slap them, right?
Oh, it sounded more like a punch.
It was definitely a slap. It was definitely a slap.
Slap.
I heard it like a
Nice floor stamp, man.
What I hate
WWF.
what I hate the most about this, and I suppose like if we talk about like what happens out in the zeitgeist, the fact that the internet
where's that?
that is everywhere.
Okay, cool.
It is everywhere. It's what is kind of popular culture, what is the flavor of popular culture at the time. And I think we have gone, as musicians, we've gone through a very tough time of understanding, what happened to Taylor Hawkins and really absorbing that and having that filtered through. And then all of a sudden, the next day, the internet's awash with this stupid act. And here we are talking about this stupid act. And I just really don't like that. Even with what's going on in Russia, obviously, like there's so many more important things to be talking about than the stupid act from the celebrity who couldn't control his temper. And then also just bad comedy as well. It wasn't even a good joke. So you've got bad comedy, bad celebrity behavior, and distraction from fucking great music like ours.
Yeah. And then on topic, you've got 3 Men in Black.
Oh, wow. And he's got dark sunglasses on.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. Conspiracy.
I don't know if we want to stay on this. We'll segue to the Matrix. I just read this declassified CIA document from 1983. It's been out a few years now, and it's about how you can like meditate and go to different worlds, and it's called remote viewing, and it's where the Americans were thinking about getting the army involved to basically deconstruct nuclear weapons, spy on the enemies, and it's kind of scientifically proven that one can deeply meditate and kind of self-hypnotize themselves to go into other dimensions. And so I've been practicing that. Had some trippy dreams, but I don't think I've quite reached the other dimension yet.
So was this a segue from a conversation we were having, or is this how you?
In my dimension,
You're in a different dimension.
it was working. Yeah.
You're going over to Johnny's place in Pennsylvania.
No, but
Is that what you're trying to do?
I was. Yeah. No, but back to Will Smith. Why the hell did he laugh at the joke, then hit him?
Yeah.
If you look at that, he looked genuinely pretty.
He got.
What do you reckon?
Initially, I was on the side of this is fake. It's planned. These networks need all the attention they can get. The Oscars had terrible ratings. It's what simple supply and demand. How do we get demand for the attention for the Oscars? We create the supply of drama, right? I was for days. I mean, I posted a comment on Facebook, and I had almost 100 comments back and forth with people, saying I was wrong and how dare I, and I'm just like, I just thought it was fake, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I mean, as people are apologizing and things like that, it's like, man, if this is fake, I mean, they're really going with this story. So it's like, maybe it wasn't fake. I don't know.
I think the normal conventions of law should have prevailed in this instance. So I think that Chris Rock should have pressed charges for being assaulted, because I think precedents that get set in these kinds of scenarios are very kind of global reaching. For example, now, is it fair game for anyone that gets offended by a comedian live on stage to go up and slap them?
Yeah, there should be consequences. You can't just go hitting people.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, he's not even being removed. I mean, like, what's going on here? You can't go around just doing.
You get cancelled for doing anything.
You'd get
but you can go and
out,
punch someone and be like, oh yeah.
It seems the information around it seems odd, and his reaction to it, like, I don't know anyone that would just and be like nothing happened almost.
Maybe it was just shock. I don't know.
Yeah. Shock.
I don't know. But I mean, enough about that.
Anyway, we talk about the new album, The Slap.
We're here to discuss better things than that, more important things, and that is the band Capitol Theatre. Like I said, from New Zealand. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for joining me. I talked to a lot of musicians, and it's really always I focus a lot on my little area in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I've had the pleasure of talking to guys from Breaking Benjamin and Tantric. I talked to the lead singer from the Verve Pipe, Tiger's Jaw. I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of those, but so I do get an opportunity to talk to bigger artists and who have a bigger reach, and it's always really enjoyable. So thank you for doing this. It always helps kind of not, I don't want to say validate, but legitimize what I'm trying to do, and having artists with a bigger reach kind of bring exposure to the smaller guys too. So it's really a great thing. So long story short, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure.
But I was just introduced to you guys. I talked to your publicist, who happens to be the same one as the Verve Pipe. That's why I got hooked up with you guys. And the minute I started listening to your music, I was hooked. And I'm not just saying that because you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. I mean, it's some really great stuff. So if you can, just please talk to me about, who Capitol Theater is and all that kind of good stuff.
Sure, man. So Capitol Theatre is three really, really good friends from Auckland, New Zealand, where we base ourselves.
It's us three, actually.
And we were formed as a covers band in the kind of late 2000s, and there we kind of basically started our own kind of families and basically had other jobs that we were focusing on. So the music was just kind of more of a part-time gig. And then in 2019, we as friends decided that, we're only on Earth for a short while. And so let's do something and make it count. And so we set about deciding to create this band and write really, really good songs. And I think what happened was, with all our years playing covers of songs from the 50s all the way to the current, we kind of got an intuitive sense of good songwriting, songs that last long, songs that affect people from all generations of life. And so I think we utilized all that 10 years of honing the covers scene into writing some really good music. And so that was 2019, and so that was when we did the writing. I hadn't performed. 2020, we head over to the States. We were really fortunate enough to land a great producer, Mike Klink, because we were like, okay, if we want to do this correctly, we need an iconic producer who's done some great records. And so we had a short list of 3 guys. It was really hard to get their attention, being an unknown band at the time from New Zealand with no track record. But we finally got hold of Mike Klink, and Mike is famous for doing the Appetite for Destruction record and for doing Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. And we really, rated the audio quality of those records. So we finally got hold of him. He listened to the demo, and then he was hooked. He was like, okay, I see where you guys are at. I like where you're going with your debut album, which is called A Hero's Journey. And it's a concept album. It's 10 tracks, and it follows the archetype of a hero, which was made famous by a guy called Joseph Campbell. And he was kind of influential. He was a big influence on like Spielberg for writing Star Wars, and a whole bunch of other great writers follow this kind of archetype.
George Lucas also did Star Wars.
Oh, what did I say?
Spielberg.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But anyway, so we went up to the States in 2020. This was like March. We started recording 1 week album into it. We're in Slash's studio doing some guitar overdubs, and then like the world shuts down, and we're like, holy crap. And all our like wives are like, hey, come back to New Zealand. We're in a pandemic. We're slightly in denial. But obviously it was a real thing at the time, so we had to fly back. So since then, we've been kind of holed up in New Zealand, like super restrictive, like policies.
Roy's got a new dad and he's calling?
Dad new.
Why have you got a new dad?
It's his new phone number. Anyway.
So basically for the last 2 years, we finished recording the album remotely. So we hired a studio here, which is owned by a guy called Neil Finn, who he's like the guitarist in Fleetwood Mac, and he's been in a band called Crowded House. And so we recorded from his studio here, and we had Mike on Zoom, and which that represented some challenges, but we managed to get it done. And then so the album was just released. The album was completed in 2021. and since then, yeah, we've had the odd setback in New Zealand because, as I said, we've got super restrictive quarantine measures. Like, no one's been allowed to fly in or out of the country without being in a quarantine camp for 14 days, and it's been a struggle to be a band anywhere during COVID. But New Zealand's been very restrictive, so we did our best to make do with the situation, and we just focused all our efforts on marketing and growing great content and making good music videos. So that brings us to this point where our latest release, Delicately Poised, has been out just for 4 weeks now, and it's going really well. It was the most added song to alternative radio in the US last week. It's well over 2.5 million streams on YouTube, and it's the sixth most played rock song in New Zealand at the moment. And it's starting to really build, which is so cool, because at times it's been really tough for the last 2 years, ever thinking, is there a way out of this? Are we actually going to achieve what we set out to do back in 2019? And now we're heading over to the States on the 20th of May, which is our first time being overseas, and I can't wait to get back there. And we're going to go right into album 2.
But could you tell us about Capitol Theatre, though?
and why we call the band Capitol Theatre, you ask? It's
yes.
Interesting. We wanted to teach the Americans how to spell theatre correctly.
Right.
That was our mission.
And
Yeah. And capital. So so look, that's a bit about the band and what we've been through. But at the end of the day, we're just 3 really good guys, great guys. You really love us.
I think you're the best. I think you're the best.
Thank you.
The best I've met on the internet.
Awesome. And we've got pretty high expectations of ourselves and what we're going to do over the next, these roaring 20s that we live in.
So the album's not out yet, correct?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I didn't complete that sentence. It's coming out 24th of June. So
you have a date. Okay, cool.
Yep, it's all finally ready to go. 24th of June. So pretty exciting.
It seems like it all happened very fast, and as fast as it happened, it came to almost a screeching halt because of the pandemic. Not only did you tell the story quickly, it just seems like it happened very fast. We were playing covers, and one day we're like, okay, let's make some of our own stuff, and we're in the studio with these producers, and we're doing this, we're doing that, videos. Here we go, and now we're coming to the States, and our first stop is in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
I know, it's crazy.
Well, Paul spoke to his alien friends and manifested a whole bunch of stuff for us. So the roadmap has been relatively clear cut.
I've been meditating a lot on that CIA document.
We're very committed. We're very committed and focused. And I think so. The one thing that we didn't know when we were writing demos and all this, but when you had an idea that the songwriting was good, but it needed to get validated. And then once Mike Klink kind of took a listen and got involved and validated the music for us, the music has been the thing opening the doors thereafter. And you can be as clever as you want with advertising and things like that, but the music has to resonate with people and connect. And that's the stuff that's happening. Everyone that's picking it up is liking it and enjoying what we're our take on rock music.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to listen to, melodic, all the good stuff, right? And I also noticed it's I don't want to say it's piano heavy, but there's definitely an influence of piano in that. And I don't get into a lot of rock music that incorporates piano, so it was kind of like almost a refreshing thing to hear.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And it really helped shape the writing too. You spend your life on a guitar, and you pick up you don't pick the piano up, but you sit down.
You did the other day.
We did, yeah. But definitely. I mean, just the body of the sound that you get out of those chords, recreating that on a guitar, it's a different vibe. So it really helped kind of channel our songwriting, and we love it. Oh, this
is how you pick up a piano.
Do we have a piano? Is this what the album was written on?
Yeah.
Beautiful. That looks like it matches the kind of the outfit that you were wearing in the video for Delicately Poised.
Yes, it does.
Grand plans for that. We've got a bunch of.
It does match
the clown shirt. Yeah. That's why we did it. I was going to say, the piano thing was interesting because again, I picked up a piano, started playing it when we started writing, and I wasn't, I'm not a traditionally, trained pianist or anything, and I was kind of getting to know the instrument a whole lot better. Which, when you're in that discovery mode, things are sounding like you're getting into different keys and chord progressions than you would, on the same stuff that you might do on the fretboard. So I think that was really cool for us because we just accessed a bunch of different styles and movements.
Yeah, and it gives it a nice texture. And thank you for the compliment. You're right. You don't hear it a lot these days, and I think that was another reason why Mike liked it. Was it just gives it a warmth or texture or something that's not that prevalent in modern rock.
It gives it an honesty,
Quite well. Yes,
gives it an honesty. You can't argue with a piano.
I don't know. I have one.
How'd it go?
He won.
Where are you guys at now? The studio? Or
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we could lift up the screen and show you.
that you could pick up?
There you go. So that's the piano in the middle, and then we got some congas, the electronic drum kit to your sides, some guitars on the wall, some pictures of some famous rock artists that our friend Robert M. Knight, he took those photos, and he lives in New Zealand at the moment actually. And there you go. There's the studio tour.
Very cool. Anyone listening on Spotify or anywhere else, make sure you hop over to YouTube and check out these handsome men with their beautiful studio.
Stop it.
Am I turning red or is that you? I don't know. No, that's cool. What's the scene like in New Zealand? I know, let's talk about before the pandemic and obviously during, because I heard things about the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, but fortunately for me, where I am in the States, we're not things are pretty flowing. So I'm curious to hear about what your lives were prior to the pandemic, and then obviously during it.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you for the question.
Well, I would say though, quickly, we were hitting our straps as a live band and starting to book big shows, and all of the major shows that we've had, which would have been big audiences, festivals and things. None of those have. A couple have happened, and at the moment, for example, we've just, as of 2 days ago, lifted the outdoor gathering limit to unlimited. Before that, they weren't allowed to happen, and we just had so many restrictions on us.
So the last 2 years, as you alluded to, the last 2 years have been pretty nil in terms of a vibe, in terms of in the music scene in New Zealand, in terms of live. But yeah, it's quite disparate. I mean, it's a small country, right? 5 million people, but then there's different cities. So we live in Auckland, which is the biggest city. It's about 1.5 million. But then you got the Wellington scene, which is maybe 300,000 people, and there's a Christchurch about 300,000. Then there's Dunedin. So there's all these little micro scenes. But yeah, I feel like it's. I feel we're kind of a bit more outsiders in some ways because we've come at it at a different, angle than the traditional scene. Whereby
lots of underground
smaller gigs. We did a lot of that in our early 20s. We were in original bands as well before we did covers, and with varying degrees of success, but mostly we got established in an indie kind of scene. But yeah, but the scene, if I looked at it objectively, I'd say that it's there's a really good underground indie kind of scene, very loyal, and then there's a very big then there's a pop scene, it's quite disparate. Where you've got artists like Lord or Benny getting kind of major kind of pop attention.
All the great work. So there's the production kind of clan that is Joel Little and. What's that record? Dryden Street. There's a kind of good camp of producers that are creating really good music, and obviously what Joel Little's done with Lord, and then what he's carried on doing in his career. That I believe, he's started a studio down here in Auckland, so I feel like he's filtering through a heck of a lot of good things back into the Kiwi music scene here, which is. I think that if we're going to be ambitious and go out into the States, when we come back, we hope to, bring that kind of energy and connection that we've made back into the scene as well. Because it's very hard for artists, local artists, to get away the cost of getting away, and the opportunities. We do have there's a good backbone of support from the government. You can apply for like government grants and things like that. But yeah, to actually create international pathways and things like that, that's what we've been forging just on our own, which is we've been just learning along the way. But we hope to help those pathways as we go for other bands.
Where is your first stop in the States?
Los Angeles, California.
Man.
Yes, Lala. Yeah. So that's where we'll be recording album 2, which is going to be so much fun. And we're taking the traditional Guns N' Roses approach, which is utilizing the same producer for your second album as your first. So
who also produced that?
And luckily for accommodation, we're actually staying with Will Smith's auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
Yeah, the internet has had so many great memes through the whole thing. That's been at least a positive out of the whole thing.
My favorite was the Fresh Prince.
Yes,
that was good.
Yes. It's going to be good. Like this will be to get to a studio again, and with a very good friend now, Mike. I mean, we've now known him for 2 years. In some points quite every daily communication. So to go back into a studio and have that whole process from start to finish for us with him,
it's going to be so good.
It'd be amazing.
Can't wait.
It's so cool to hear you guys talk about you're ready. You're going to write your second album, and your first one's not even out yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been done probably for a while, right? But
yeah.
I guess
with the modern kind of like day and age, once you get a bit of attention on you, there's kind of an expectation to kind of feed the content beast. So we figured we'd be on the front foot and not have that second album pressure, So we're really proud of the bunch of songs that we've got together, and we're hoping it's going to be even better than album 1. So.
How do you guys feel about having to constantly push out content? I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, probably younger than me, but back in the day, you would release an album, you'd have 2 or 3 singles from that, you'd have videos for it, and that would run for a length of time. Now it's every 6 weeks you got to put out a song and a video, and you're constantly have to be on your social media.
I personally don't like it because I am like more probably similar in age to you, and it's not my native thing to be glued to a screen and constantly addicted to how many people are liked to my posts. But I think we've come to the realization that's how the industry is now. That's what people want. Fans want to really know you. They want to engage with you at a much more granular level than what, say, the artists of the 90s and the 2000s could, where they, like you said, just put out 3 albums. You might read about them in a Rolling Stone or something, and then they were just kind of mysterious. Rock stars used to be kind of just cool and mysterious, but now it's like you got to be like a Kardashian. It's like you're on all the time. People want to know everything about you, and so it's different. That's how I feel about it personally, but I think it's a necessary kind of evil. But if I had my way, I would just play drums to a stadium of 60,000 people every night. They know all the songs.
Speaking of drums, we touched on him earlier, Taylor Hawkins. Was he an inspiration for you and all of you guys? And I met him when I was 17. My old band opened for them when they were just playing like a town hall. It was the Color and Shape tour, and I was actually kind of jealous of him, to be honest, because he was friends with Dave, and I wanted to be friends with Dave when I was a kid. But Dave came up to me after that show because we opened for them, and he was like, "Hey, man, nice drumming." And I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like that was the first time I've ever been starstruck, and only time. And I couldn't say anything. I was like, yeah. But then I finally did say something, and I was like, "You're the reason I play drums, man." And he was like, "Okay, dude, I gotta go. See you later." I was like fanboying all over him. So
Didn't he tell you that he loved your cymbals?
He loved my cymbals too. Yeah,
sure.
I was kind of poor back then and just had a shitload of broken cymbals, which I'd reuse. And he thought that was pretty cool. So.
What a tragic loss.
It's disgusting.
It's really really tough because obviously that band means so much to so many people, and obviously also just the loss of life and the effects that has immediately for his family and everyone that loves him, more than just fans or whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty big moment, for everyone to take stock of what it actually is also like to be in that scene as well. I think it's like it can really fuck with people, right?
You gotta wonder though, like there's gotta be some issues. Like if you're in like one of the most successful rock bands in the world and you're touring with your buddies and like you've got some money, why is it that you need to have other things, like drugs and alcohol to enjoy yourself? And that's sad that that's a thing.
But it's been happening for years,
forever.
yeah, with rock especially.
And you never know what's going on with anyone unless you're them, and sometimes they don't even know what's going on, right? So it's challenging. But I think the thing for me, like when I heard the news, I was just, I don't know, like you hear of a lot of artists that we know, don't know personally, but that they pass away, and it's like, oh, that sucks. But with this one, and I think you guys are probably all the same, like it felt like your brother died or something like that. Like you just stopped and went, fuck. And days of just, then you kind of go to yourself, hang on, I never met this guy, or you did, but like I didn't know him personally, but you almost feel like you had some kind of major connection with the guy, and and then you start sort of feeling for Dave as well, and that what he's been through in his life. So it's pretty traumatic, but
it was sad. I didn't cry like I cried when I found out Kurt Cobain died. Like that was pretty emotional for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned like you didn't know him, but you had that impact. And like I saw the Foo Fighters once, unfortunately, just once. They were top 5 favorite bands. But with Taylor, he was always smiling. Like he just always had that big smile on his face. So like he felt like he was your buddy. Like you felt like you knew him. And it's weird because it happened. I was actually in Atlantic City. It was Friday night that it was reported, I believe. And, it happened. And like, I was still like kind of bothered by it for like days later. And again, I don't know him. But like you said too, like you kind of feel for Dave, like the chemistry that they had together on stage. I think I saw a performance that maybe happened a day or two before he passed, when they kind of hugged it out. And Taylor's like, I'd be delivering pizzas if it wasn't for Dave Grohl. And they switched roles. Like Dave went to play the drums and Taylor came and sang. And it just seemed like they had that brothership. And obviously you guys can appreciate that because you're in a band together and do a lot of things together. And it's heartbreaking. And I feel like, the past few years, we lost guy from Lincoln Park, Chad Bennington, right? Chester. Sorry. Chris Cornell, just a lot of big losses in the past, handful of years.
Yeah. Well, death is a thing. And it's going to happen to all of us at one point in time. And I guess we don't know when that is.
No, you just got to make the most of every day and don't sweat the small stuff. And just if you were to pop off tomorrow, make sure today's, one of the biggest days of your life.
Right.
It's sad how you kind of don't realize that or think about it until you get older and you're on that other side. Like I'm almost 40. So I just recently, I keep thinking about, I'm almost 40. And I say, let's say I live till I'm 80. So my life's like, that's good, right? Hopefully longer, but let's just say 80. So my life's halfway over, right? And then how many of those 40 years are going to be good years in that, there's no hip replacements or no, knee blowouts and things like that. Like how many of those are good years? What, 15, 20? Like it's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you can get bogged down thinking about heaps of stuff like that. But, I've just kind of taught myself to kind of just think about today. Obviously, plan for tomorrow, but because you don't want to miss a meeting or something, but enjoy today.
You should put that on a wall, like a
My life
block.
I'm kind of like I enjoy the week.
Nice.
Yeah.
But make the most of today.
Put your pick today, plan the week.
Yeah. Because I've been meditating to aliens. I'm not as scared of death.
No.
I don't think I believe that we are eternal beings of life, and this is just a flesh suit that we use for 80 to 100 years, however long you want to be in it, and then our bodies decompose. But there's an
You can
awareness.
definitely strengthen your relationship with the cosmos, with the universe, kind of. You can strengthen that as a human, like you can channel it a whole lot more while you're here, and then you'll be like,
get used to it.
Sweet. When death comes, I've got all these friends out
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
People do that in various ways.
Yeah.
I think and that's why religion is a good thing for some people, because it gives them a sense of removes that fear of death. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do something else. If someone has something to believe in, then maybe that can just help them through a tough time.
Yeah, I think it's cool how people can kind of latch on to things like that. I used to be religious. My dad passed away when I was 22, and I kind of had like a whole thing with God and why me type thing. And it's just I lost a lot of people with like a year span. I'm kind of like, you know what? Maybe I need a break from this whole religion thing. I don't know. It's weird.
There's so many different types of religion, isn't there? There's so many different people involved, so it's hard to paint it with a broad brush. But yeah, sometimes bad things happen in life, but then sometimes good things happen. It's kind of make sense of the chaos, and I like to think that you are in control of it by your thoughts and feelings, and being conscious of what you want to have happen, manifest, and try and focus on the outcomes that you want by imagining shit in your head before it's happened. And that served me well for pretty much everything. If I look at all the key successes or things in my life that I've wanted to achieve that I really had a bit of faith in, it was all done in the imagination first.
It's kind of like securing Mike Plank. We'd only just started writing. We kind of had a bunch of songs, and for a brand new band,
we did a little group meditation on the boat, didn't we? Say
we just believed we
got them.
We believed we could do it, and it just worked out.
Yeah.
Now, if someone never heard of Capitol Theater, and you had to describe yourselves as what kind of band you were, what kind of music it was, what would you say?
I'd say like Nirvana was like having sex with killers, whilst the Eagles were kind of playing guitar in the corner while Tom Petty was peeping in.
Don Henley was writing.
Have you been asked that before?
Yeah. And I've said that answer pretty much before.
Scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, in terms of a genre, we're obviously alternative rock. The album spans across quite a number of different, rock genres, but essentially it's this is going to be a bit confusing, but it's kind of classic, modern, melodic, alternative rock with a flavor of Adam Stevenson.
Yep.
I like that.
And sushi.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we hope that eventually, in the very short distance in the future, people will go, oh, that sounds like Capitol Theatre. As opposed
I think when we can
Capitol Theatre sound like this and this and this.
Because we've been deprived of live shows and executing the full noise of what our vision for Capitol Theatre is that it is embellished. It's you're using the mechanisms of rock music to create a really interesting live show, and there's no better format of music, I don't think, where you can get that energy transfer across with guys on stage and with the embellishments that we want to bring into our live set. We want to make it like a rock circus. We want to have people really feel the Capitol Theatre vibe.
Stadium rock.
Yeah. So it's good, but it's fun. We've got a fun energy about us. It's not not a serious like look at us kind of absorb the music and be serious about it. There's a quite a kind of fun, fun element to it. I guess that's what you know about the Foo Fighters as well. You knew that fucking Taylor Hawkins was having so much fucking fun playing those songs. He just exuded it, and that's a great energy to broadcast out to the world.
And being extremely genuine, like writing music you love rather than writing music that you think you have to write to be successful or whatever. And you can see that in an artist when they're performing on stage, whether they're passionate about their music or not. And that's often the make or break between a successful, especially rock music, or not.
I mean, I'm a nobody, but I think you guys have a bright future.
Thank you.
You're not a nobody.
You're definitely not a nobody. You're a guy with a successful podcast and a sick ass brick wall behind you.
Yes, my home bar. Yes.
But, I mean, you've got a home bar.
What are the
not everyone has
what
a
are the
home
trophies
You got
for?
trophies.
So yes, thank you for asking.
That's cool.
I have a couple trophies. I used to have a radio show. So I won a few awards for best radio personality. Now, I mean, when those were voted on, by your peers and by, the local band and artist scene, like I was doing a show like once a week for an hour. I wasn't one of those guys doing the drive time, to work or from, home or whatever. But I was never that like zany like DJ either. I wasn't like okay, coming up next is Capitol Theater with their new song, whatever. I wasn't that guy. I was very much what we are doing right here, right now. Just kind of genuine. People kind of understood that like what I was doing, which I didn't get paid for, by the way. I was doing it as like a side thing. I was my primary job was sales, so I wasn't getting paid to do it, but I'm just passionate about music and I love music. I can't play music, but I really appreciate those who can. And I always want to be supportive and kind of have a platform to elevate them or just, shout from the rooftops about them. So people just kind of knew that the genuine nature came out very, very well. And so I think the awards came from that, not because I'm a good radio DJ. And then, as an extension of the radio show, I had a podcast where I wanted to, you can do an interview on the radio where it's the 2-minute, like, how'd you get your name? Okay, you have a new album coming out. What's it called? Those generic bullshit questions, right? But I wanted to create a space where, we can get to know the artists, like, how they grew up and, how they got to where they are and what their dreams and aspirations are. So I had a podcast as an extension of that. So one of the awards is for the podcast, and actually one of them is also for this podcast. It was like the Music Press of the Year award.
So
Congratulations.
Nice. What I love about people like you that are genuinely, fans of music, have an appreciation of it. They are the people that tick it along, and well, if I think about people that get involved in the music industry, some people are there maybe for their own ego's sake or something like that, but you can really tell the genuine music fans apart from the people that are just there to fuck, and I don't know what the fuck they're there for, but they like the idea of the commodity of music and the excitement that surrounds, but they're not
celebrity.
They're sometimes not fucking. They're not genuine music fans, and we were lucky enough to work with some pretty genuine music fans in our team, and you can just tell they love. Again, they've appreciated the music that we've created, but also that they're just genuinely they like music, they celebrate music, and because that's where they move forward nicely with the industry when they're passionate about music.
Yeah,
it's
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Do you have any radio awards?
I do actually.
Yeah.
No, that's different thing. Not different story.
Are there any shows that you guys played, whether it was with a band or just a show in general, that like kind of really sticks out to you, and you say to yourself, like, that was like, I want more of that every single time?
Well, we took acid this one time. We all went to watch you. We all went to watch you too.
No, gigs we've played.
I thought it was just general gigs.
You were playing that.
That's the thing. we were so out of our minds
It was an
we were
test.
swear that like Bono was like, Adam, Paul. I was like, looked at each other and we're like, yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? And we're like, yeah. It's like, yeah, welcome. Wonder when you're going to be here. Like,
When did he turn Scottish?
I don't know, man.
No, we had a good gig on New Year's Eve this past New Year's. That was before we had to go into more lockdowns and crap.
Yeah, that was good because we had
Good vibe.
we had a lot of friends and family on stage with us, like dressing up as like clowns and like throwing out beach balls because it's summer here and now New Year's,
Beach
so
vibe,
it was just such a party kind of circus.
Yeah, it felt like Capitol Theatre
Yeah.
1.0.
Yeah.
It's completely different than most other acts you would have seen that night or anywhere around. So it's nice to be a little bit different, and it got us in a great vibe,
Yeah,
great crowd, great times.
yeah. But looking forward to many more, and hopefully some in Pennsylvania in the not too distant future too.
Yeah, come on, let's do it.
Yeah, man.
I've got some connections to some local venues. I don't know the show size you're used to, but I could definitely.
Awesome. Hey, we'll play anywhere. We just love playing music.
Yeah.
Give us 10 people, we'll be happy.
You know what? If you want to hook up with me on social media or whatever, there's definitely places to play around here.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do that.
Let's do it.
But let's say you guys like Capitol Theatre ceases to exist tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
What do you guys do? Like, do you guys have like, is this your full-time gig now and you're focused 100% on this, or do you guys like have daytime stuff, or like do you have other passions you would pursue if Capitol Theatre was not a thing?
I guess we're fortunate that we started like businesses, like when we were doing cover bands, we started like property businesses, and so that's enabled us to basically for the last 2 years and the next few years just make Capitol Theatre a thing. So
That's sweet.
We're full time on the music.
So we're doing this full time now. Yeah.
And it's funny, like, because like 40 hours or whatever it is a week, probably more, and that's without gigs and stuff at the moment, but it still doesn't feel like enough time. So for many artists that are working day jobs and then trying to do the band thing outside of that, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, because we're our own label as well. We're kind of doing everything ourselves on it in an indie way, but at scale. So it's kind of like we're kind of running a record company kind of as well as being an artist. So it takes up a lot of time.
Let's sign this band. Oh, great guys.
Capitol Theatre.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the way of looking at it.
We might fire them though. We'll just have to have a look.
Man, those guys don't get their streaming numbers up. They're going to drop
they're out. They're out.
So look, we're pretty lucky, but yeah, if for one other reason, one of the boys was like, actually, you know what? I just want to go retire and dig holes on a farm or something. I guess it would be pretty sad. But yeah, we would have other things to do. I'd probably just start a different project.
The thing is, it's
filling holes. Filling holes.
I'd go around like filling them up after the other.
But it's such a fun kind of journey, and we've been on it for so long already, together, and we're just starting to make really good inroads, and it's just Paul said it earlier, you do only live once. You got to, if you think about what you can do on earth, and if you've got the chance to actually communicate some good music to people, and what we're seeing now is the reciprocation. We're starting to get so much feedback from audiences like all around the world, people just coming in and genuinely just letting us know that they like the music. And so there's a whole world out there where we can actually go and connect with these people, and we can, I just think there'd be nothing better than, going out and playing, having a conversation with, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people and enjoying that space of music and time together,
Cool.
Have you ever tried talking to 50,000 people at once?
No, well, what you do, the key thing is you get a big fucking sound system.
Oh, is that what you do?
And don't give each one of those 50,000 people a microphone because that could be really chaotic.
Yeah. What's the limit on a Zoom call? We could probably invite them all in, right?
Yeah.
50,000. Wonder what is the
Find out.
Do they do
I don't know what the limit is. I pay for the monthly fee, so I get to
You must
hopefully have
have
more
the
than
max. Yeah.
So, well, seriously though, if you're ever in the States and you're ever in Scranton or around Scranton, Pennsylvania, and you're not playing a show, I would encourage you to swing by. I work at a screen print shop. It's like a punk rock vibe and stuff like that. So at least swing by for a visit.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Don't lie to me though.
I'm not lying. You'll definitely
Well, if you could just formalize the contract, we'll have our people look over it.
Scranton, PA, resume right past.
Yeah, cool. It's locked in, I guess.
So one-time visits to the
Punk
punk
vibe.
rock
Yep.
screen printing.
Axelrad screen printing, yes.
Right.
Yeah, does sound cool.
Cool. We can put that in our schedule.
Yeah, put that on the books.
Itinerary. No, seriously, man. Like we will definitely,
well, we're going.
Yeah.
So
we
we're
will
going to
remember
be.
you.
I was just checking the geographics, but we're going to be in Cleveland for a showcase in late June. Then we're going across to. We're going somewhere in Columbus. Yep.
Okay.
So then we are actually needing to go across to. Where are we going?
The United States.
Oh, no, we're going up.
We're
The
going to
United States
Wisconsin.
of America is a very big landmass to what we're used to. So,
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. In New Zealand, there's a part where you can drive across coast to coast in less than an hour.
there's the skinny part of the island.
Where's Chicago going?
It's just
Yeah, you got to head to like across, go from Ohio and then travel like through Pittsburgh, make some stops there, and keep going. You'll have to stop at Scranton. You're gonna go to Philly, New York, all the good places. I mean, Scranton is the home of The Office.
All right.
The American version, not the
Oh,
British.
is it?
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
We could
Got that vibe.
You could fly. It
Yeah.
might be quicker.
Yeah.
Well, you can run. I mean, you can run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you screen? What kind of things do you screen print? Like
Yeah,
t-shirt?
anything. Yeah, t-shirts, hoodies,
Great.
all anything you can.
Might need to get some custom stuff made.
Yeah, I don't personally screen print, but I could definitely. We'll bring you in. We'll do a custom shirt for you guys.
Oh my god, that'd be
Send you off on your way. You can sell them for lots of money.
sweet.
Yeah.
Sounds.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Sweet.
How can it stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to keep you guys much longer. It's been almost an hour now. I know you're very busy. You probably have better things to do than talk to me. So I just want to say thank you again. I hope to see Capitol Theater in the big lights, the bright lights, as they say, right?
Thanks, man.
Yeah, as long as I can see the logo and see us, I think that's important.
Not too
if
bright.
you're doing a show and whatever, we'd like some lighting. So just have some of our key requirements. PA, as we talked about, lights, and just
Audience.
Audience. Dude, I'm telling you, I got places you can play.
Sweet.
Thank you.
I can't tell you the fee of the pay will be great, but let's talk about it.
it's all about the experience, man.
Yeah, well, you guys need to get paid too. So, well, guys, best of luck this year. I'm looking forward to the full album coming out. You said June 24th,
Got it.
which is A Hero's Journey, correct?
Got it.
That's the one.
Yep.
Capitol Theater. I'm assuming it'll be on all the streaming services. We have like hard copies with you to when you're traveling through. And
Yep. There's going to be a limited run of like 300 blue vinyl. So if you'd like one of those, let us know your address and we'll send you one. But apart from that, it's just going to be all on the DSPs.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you again so much. I'm really, really happy to talk to you guys. I'm excited for the album, like I said, and it means a lot to me that you took the time out of your day to hang out with me.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for your time, Johnny.
Yeah, thanks for your time, man.
When this goes up, I think it'll probably be maybe next week. Of course, I'll tag you guys and I'll shoot you a DM or whatever, let you know it's out and in the universe, and my 5 listeners will hopefully subscribe to your pages as well.
Thanks, bro.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Keep it up.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
See ya.
Cheers. Have a
Bye.
good one.